Like, for example, right now, if I pulled out a knife and stabbed John in the neck, if you put it on the internet, it would get a lot of people to watch it.
What the hell kind of thought is that?
It's just an example, bro. Don't worry.
Trust in my suicide. Teenage girls with remote control. If I press rewind, will it make you all die?
Good.
What did you guys do during your downtime? Were you just writing all the time, or are there any other projects you're
I
on?
walked my dog.
Superman told me that we needed to make a double type of record. And so I answered and I said, okay, Superman, we will make a double type of record, but it won't be a double album because Batman didn't want a double album.
Robin did, though.
They look to you for a lot of answers. That's why they listen to your music, and a lot of your music is very abstract.
If anybody's looking for us or at us for answers, then they're in more trouble than when they started.
I don't know if it's answers, more of like
It's the
maybe
same with us.
guidance.
We're looking for...
Yeah, the point for us is to keep it open to interpretation.
When me and Serj met, I was a singer and he was a keyboard player. We kind of switched roles, and as this band's mutated, we're kind of moving towards both of us being kind of a lead singer type of duo, you can say, like Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton.
It's an interesting comparison. It doesn't come off to kids like you guys are arrogant or whatever, which is
But
what
we are.
it kind of comes off.
We are. We're very arrogant. Tell the kids we're very arrogant. I just told them we are very arrogant, and you should be too.
We're not concerned about how we're perceived. Perception is the mother of deception.
It was just that I was a guitar player more in my brain than I was a bass player. But I was a bass player. That's what my job, and I looked at it as that. And then I stopped looking at it as that. And I started listening to the bass more when I listened to music instead of hearing the guitar more. And I love my instrument now, so.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
I was a prostitute on the street.
You obviously didn't do too well for yourself.
Hollywood.
That's why you had to become a musician.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well. As a kid, I was traded in the black market a couple of times, and I ended up on the streets of Hollywood, and then I ended up in System of a Down, and Shavo was the guitar player, but then I took the guitar from him.
He did, actually.
And
He said, be a bass player, man.
yeah, because I'm tired.
You guys are doing a guerrilla style club tour, doing smaller places instead of larger venues, which you could easily do.
Why they call it guerrilla?
We're inviting gorillas.
Oh.
I think each of the cause speaks for itself. We don't really need to get out there and preach or anything like that. We like to let the music speak for itself.
And you guys are making it really difficult, and that's your problem because this is your interview,
Well,
so
would
it's
you
really your
not
time.
like to not air it?
Dude,
Because
whatever, man.
it's
I'm not
fine.
here to argue with you at all. It's not my job.
You're not really understanding the point of what's going on.
Well, what's the point of with what's going on? Tell us.
Well, I think part of what we're trying to say is that in every answer there's also a question, and not everything is clear. Not everything's clear for us.
We don't need
nor
to
for
talk
you.
about what our songs are about. There ain't no rule in this game. Just the reason why we write songs the way we do is because there's no rule in this game. So when we do interviews, we do an interview any way we want to do an interview, just like the way we write our songs. We don't write our songs for the radio. We don't write our songs for MTV or your channel. We write our songs for ourselves. Now, if you guys want to cover our band, that's cool with us. If you don't, then that's cool with us too. You know what I'm saying? We told a bunch of people years ago, it's like if sometimes they want to put like only the singer on the cover of a magazine, well, we're like, you know what? We're a band of 4 people. We only have 4 people. If you don't want 4 people, then we don't want to be on the cover of your magazine. That's why. If to answer all your questions of why the band is big or why the album is successful or why blah, because we're honest. And we just don't give a
You know, maybe the success has gotten to your heads. And I said, you know what? We've been doing this for 10 years. We haven't changed for 10 years. Just like he said, I told him the same.
I'm actually nicer than I was back then. Before I joined this band, I used to beat fools down for no reason. There's guys that plumb, and if your was clogged up in the toilet, you would be asking him a lot more questions than you'd be asking me.
So why are you here? Why are you wasting your time and ours as well?
I just woke up like 10 minutes ago next door. If you want
I
to
don't think it's a waste of time.
If you think it's a waste of time, then I'll leave.
I don't, but you don't want to be here.
No, it doesn't matter to me either way. If I'm here, I'm going to answer the questions the way I'm going to answer the questions. It's not a waste of time for me. If it's a waste of time for you, then leave.
It's not, though, dude. That's why we're here, because we like your band and we want to get the information that kids want to hear because we respect
but we
your
also
music
have to
and
give the
whatnot.
information that we want to give, not the information that you want to have.
I understand what you're saying. I also understand what we're saying.
The way we answer questions isn't going to change just because we like you guys. I mean, that has nothing to do with it.
I talk to my mom the same way. She gets nothing out of me.
Here, but we don't want you to look bad for your fans. And
I think we look
it comes
just
off
fine.
different.
But you know what? You should just let us look.
I think that's a risk. I think that's a risk you got to let us take.
We appreciate the protection because that really means you guys care, and we appreciate that.
Right, no,
Like, but whatever we do is whatever we do, and we're not scared of being what we are, and whatever the moment, even if it's this information, even if we don't believe in what we're saying, it doesn't really matter ultimately. If we take ourselves too seriously, what are you doing?
I'm filming, bro. Just start talking.
Then we'll miss the whole part.
Also, don't interview us when we first wake up, I think is a lesson learned here.
You guys just woke up.
I think it's also 4 of us being interviewed together. Like this.
Yeah, we usually do bad 4 of us together.
Why?
I don't know.
Usually you get interviewed separately.
Yeah, but 2 by 2.
I mean, whatever. I'm just trying to explain our perspective versus your perspective.
I think you're disrespectful. I think you guys have your own sense of humor, which
Yes,
you as a group
yes,
understand,
yes.
which many other people don't.
You really?
Which is fine.
You're right.
It's funny because our music is part of our sense of humor, and if we've sold that many records, it seems like people are getting it.
Hey.
If you said people don't understand.
I said certain people don't understand.
Like who? The red states?
Dude.
I think the one thing that you're not grasping is that all the stuff he's saying, sometimes I don't understand it initially either. But if you look at Daron, he may seem like he's a d sometimes, but there's always...
Thanks.
You're welcome. But what I've noticed knowing him for all these years, whatever he says, there is always a meaning behind it. Sometimes you have to search for that meaning.
I swear on my life, once you hear both records, you will say, okay, I know what he was talking about.
And as much as he's being a
life.
There is a meaning behind it. And sometimes you have to search for that meaning. And we may not be the easiest interview in the world, you know?
Yes.
But there is something there. And if you search for it, you'll find it. And don't take it personally, because if we took things personally, this band would not exist.
Please, remain in this space.